They say their name, let the truth be known. Black roots deep in sacred stone. Not forgotten, not alone. This is the story of Black Jonestown. We lift the voices.
I felt like I was a part of this incredible community that put self aside because there was a greater good. And the greater good was to ensure that babies didn't go to bed hungry, that there was equality for everyone. I liked that. I liked the thought that I could actually make a difference. Welcome to Black Jonestown. I am speaking to Nancy Shaw, who was a child in People's Temple, whose grandmother, and I'll allow her to name her grandmother, was murdered in Jonestown, and her mother passed in San Francisco, and we're going to delve into that. It will show Jim's ability to try to prophesy on people's health. So we're just going to start with Nancy. Again, thank you so much for joining us on Black Jonestown. And I just want to, so how did you arrive in People's Temple?
I arrived there when I was 11 years old with my grandmother because someone invited her to come there. They said he was like doing healings, like a Reverend Ike thing. So my grandmother had had a stroke. So she went because she thought that he could heal her, make her better from this stroke. And so he said he was doing healing. So she thought that she's supposed to go and get in this line to get healed. So she went up there for prayer and she couldn't get up because she'd had a stroke. So they helped her up and they invited her to Redwood Valley to get physical therapy. And so she stayed in Redwood Valley, Ukiah area for like a week to 2 weeks and they did physical therapy. They had a heated pool at the church in Redwood Valley. And so they gave her physical therapy there in the heated pool. And so it made her better to walk.
Okay.
And so when she came home, she was, telling my mom about it. So that's, my mother went. So I was like 10, 11 years old. So of course I got to go because my mother went.
Exactly.
And so that's how we got involved.
Okay. So let me just, so you were in Redwood Valley, so the pool in the back of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was there, you said, for a couple weeks.
Right.
And then where were you originally from? Where did you travel from in California?
Pittsburgh, California.
For those that don't know where Pittsburgh is, can you share where that is located in the Bay Area?
It's about 35 minutes from San Francisco.
Okay.
So the other side of San Francisco, the Bay Area.
So you came all the way from Pittsburgh all the way to Redwood Valley, and that's quite a drive.
Oh, yeah.
That's quite a drive.
3 hours away from, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when she got better, right?
Yes.
She went home to Pittsburgh.
And we continued to go. We would have to like find rides. And then eventually what they would do, they would send the bus to come and pick us up because we didn't have a car. So they would send the bus and the bus would actually, it would come to Pittsburgh because they had other older people that would go. So they would meet like downtown Pittsburgh and they would pick up the other older people. Then eventually they would come in front of my grandmother's house and they would pick us up.
To make sure you had no reason not to come.
Exactly, to make sure that we came to the temple for the Wednesday night service.
Okay.
Pick us up, and then for the Friday night service, they would pick us up.
Interesting. Okay. And so how many people do you think were picked up? Like what's they went to that location? How many senior
So
citizens
uh,
do you think they picked up?
let's see. It was me, my grandmother, my mom, Mary Frances, that's four. And then when about five people, 5 to 6
So
people.
on the Greyhound bus.
Uh-huh. On that big old
Okay.
great,
That's a lot of gas.
yeah, a lot of gas. Yeah, for
Okay, for
that many.
5 people. They wanted you there. They wanted
Well,
you there.
and then they made a stop in Richmond because they would pick up people in Richmond. I don't
Okay.
remember the name, but yeah, they picked up people in Richmond.
Mhm.
It was like these sisters. They would pick them up at the Chevron gas station. Yeah.
And so they picked you up on Friday night and they brought you to Wednesday night, which we refer to as catharsis, which
Yes.
was nothing but discipline, calling people on the floor. Now, how did you feel about that?
I did. I didn't understand it.
Hmm.
I'm a kid, so I didn't understand it, and I didn't want to go. And
Hmm.
then I start meeting other young people. Then I started having friends, so that's what really made me want to come.
Right, right.
But in the beginning, it's like I didn't want to be there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like,
What did you
why?
think about? Sorry, go ahead.
Why do I have to be here? I don't know anybody here.
Right. Now, when you
They-
started going to, was your mother going with you? When the bus was coming to pick you up from
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, your mother
yeah,
was there too. And
yes,
what was your mother's name?
Mabel,
And what was your grandmother's name?
Nancy,
Okay. All right.
yes,
Nancy Jones.
Nancy Jones.
Okay.
Yes, she's the one that died in Jonestown.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
condolences. So
yeah,
when you were going to, so you made friends
yes,
and at the San Francisco Temple, and then
yes.
what happened next? What was your involvement as a child in People's Temple?
I eventually, actually, I just hung out with my friends.
Do you remember who they were?
Uh,
Names?
let's see. The
Oh,
first I met was Darlene. I can't remember her last name.
okay. It's been so long.
It's been so long. Oh, I can't remember her last name. Darlene,
Mhm.
uh, Calvin Douglas.
Mhm.
Uh, I met Karen. A lot of them they passed away there. Um, I'd have to sit down. I have to actually get the book to remember the name. Um, Cassandra. She was like a sister to me.
Oh goodness. Did she
Um,
pass in Jonestown?
yeah, she did.
Mm, so sorry. I know it's hard. We lost so many. We lost so
Um,
many. If I could hug you, I would,
um,
because I definitely understand. Well, that's enough. That's enough names for now. But you created this friendship amongst the other kids. Go ahead and take a minute.
yeah, yeah.
I know this is hard. We're reliving this trauma.
It's crazy until you really sit down and really think about
Right.
it. It don't hit you like that, but then when you really, really think about it,
Hmm. Hmm. I know it's heartbreaking because you don't. It's like how could this happen and why? And that's what Black Jonestown.
yeah,
The reason for Black Jonestown is to hear these stories because we don't. We're not part of the narrative. These were actually people that lived, that were friends and family, and we loved them. We grew up with them.
yeah.
And then for them just to be gone in such a senseless manner, murder, it's hard. It's hard.
Ellie Bean,
Ellie
because
Beam?
yeah, I actually because I end up I stayed at the San Francisco Temple
You
for a
did?
minute. I did. I stayed downstairs. I lived in the room by the bathroom. it was a bug bed, two bunk beds, a bunk bed and a bed. I think it's saying about a bunk bed. I can't remember. It's been so long. But Ellie Bean, and I forgot who else was in that room. Yeah, her dad used to take us to school.
Oh, okay. So you went
Uh,
to school to San Francisco.
yeah, went there for a minute. Went to Betrayal Hill.
Okay. How did you like that? How was that experience for you being actually living in People's Temple?
I did not like it.
Why not?
Why didn't I like it? Because it's not home. People tell, for one thing, you have to give them your money.
Right. Mm-hmm.
My mother would have to cash my Social Security checks, and then she'd give me the money to give to them. Okay. I have to give them my money. Then I have to write a list out of what I need.
The Needs Committee.
And then on Mondays,
Mm-hmm.
meeting, after the meeting, then you go in the what was that, the dining room in San Francisco? I mean,
Right.
yeah, San Francisco, in
The
the
ki-
dining,
Mm-hmm.
go to that little window, and then they will hand you the things that you've given them, like if you say, okay, I need deodorant, I need this, I need that, then they will, toothpaste, whatever, toothbrushes, then they will hand you those things. Then
Right.
whatever items you needed, they'll give you X amount of dollars or whatever, shoes, whatever, pants.
Mm-hmm.
They'll give you money so you can go to the store to buy those things. But then in
Mm-hmm.
return, you got to come back with the receipts and turn the receipts in.
Right. I remember. I
You're not,
remember.
why do I got to do this? I didn't understand that. To be like living in a communion or something.
A
I didn't,
community.
yeah,
Mhm. And
no.
so did you, because you're a couple years younger than me, and I remember living in a commune with Joe on Steiner Avenue, and the needs committee, you had to track everything or else you get in trouble, down to the penny. They
Yeah,
wanted to know if you had change, you had to give that back. And so so did you get any allowance? Like, what did you have? Were you able to go buy snacks or soda, or was it just it? Were you able to have any money on you?
what I did. I
You
swear,
had money on you.
I told you this. When I would go home,
Mhm.
because I caught Bart, went home to Pittsburgh and get the money from my mom. And I kept money for myself. I
Good.
said, not giving them all my money. Is I
Mhm.
kept on it for myself. And the church was by fish and chips. So I would go to fish and chips and get my fish and chips. And then
Mhm.
the corner was the liquor store. So I would go in that right by the Muslim place. Maybe we would buy the
Right.
Muslim place and then the liquor
Mhm.
store.
Mhm.
Or liquor was like around the corner, whatever. But I would go there and I would get my snacks.
Yeah.
And I had my stuff. Because
Yeah.
no, I didn't understand why I didn't, but I
Mhm.
did.
Right. Because of course, as a child, it's not going to, excuse me, of course, as a child, it's not going to make sense because why are you, and your mother's giving you your social security check, the entire thing to People's Temple, and then they're just divvying out. And I don't, sometimes things weren't approved, depending on what you wanted. Sometimes you didn't get what you wanted because they didn't think you needed it.
See,
Do you remember that?
I never had that problem.
Oh, lucky.
Everything I asked for, I got.
Okay,
So
good. Hmm.
like, because I think if they would have said no, I'd have questioned that because that's the type of person I was.
Right.
It's like I never like even those Monday meetings. Like I seen people get beat with that wooden paddle.
Hmm.
I want to know like why were they getting beat, but I was like, okay, I'll never get in that predicament where they gonna be hitting me with that paddle because then we're
Right.
gonna have a problem.
Right. Exactly.
So
Right. So you made sure that you did everything so you don't get called on the floor.
exactly.
Now, what did you think about? So when you were so you were living in People's Temple at the actual church and on Geary Street.
Yeah.
When you got home from school, what did you have? What was the rest of your day? What did the rest of your day look like once you arrived home from school?
Had to make sure that, I mean, we had chores, but I don't remember what all those chores were. But I
Mhm.
remember we had chores and make sure your homework was done. I remember that. And some days we had to go out and collect money in that can. I remember that.
Okay. And did
And
you go to, sorry. When you were collecting money, did you go down to, did you go down to Market Street and Market Street around they used to have a Woolworths on the corner there, Market Street, like Geary, and further down and
yeah,
stand on the corners and,
Gary and some, whatever, straight down Gary. I don't remember
mhm,
the name of that street. I just know it was cold, cold as the Dickens. And they would leave you out there for like an hour or two.
mhm,
And it was freezing. And you got that can and you asking for money. Sometimes people give you money, sometimes they didn't.
mhm.
I just know it was cold.
Right, right.
They
You remember that.
give you something, don't donate to something.
Mhm.
I blocked a lot of that stuff out of my mind.
I understand. And we have to sometimes.
Cause
Do you remember we have to block it out because it's too much. Even after 47 years, I mean, you talking about it, I know I'm glad you have your family there to comfort you because it's reliving it, right? Um, and I know it's difficult. I really do. And that's why I appreciate you so much for willing to to share this. It's a lot. And you do bury things because I think it's that timing to just pull things down, not think about it. Because again, we're reliving a time in our lives that was not just difficult, but traumatic, right? Traumatic.
yeah,
Yeah, it is. It is. So I want to ask you, so basically you did homework at people in the church, right? Did
yeah.
you so what did you think as a child? Because we were both children when we went in. Again, I'm a couple of years older than you. But what did you think about the abuse? Like, I didn't think it was abuse. I thought, I mean, I didn't label it abuse, right? It was just something that was done because we were indoctrinated into this lifestyle. What did you think? How did you feel when you would see people get beat?
I felt sorry for them. Like whooping somebody because they not doing good in school. I didn't like that.
Right.
The,
Or falling asleep.
that don't make us. Why would you do that? You know, some of that stuff didn't make good sense to me. I didn't like it, and
Right.
I don't like seeing people cry. So that part I didn't like.
Hmm. Hmm.
It, really,
It
it made me
wasn't no,
cringe. You know,
mm,
but you
right.
don't doing it, but you're like, oh my god, just in the inside you're like, oh my god, just
Mhm.
stop.
Say that again, Nancy, because we
Wish
got cut off. Say that again, please.
they would just stop. You know,
Right.
giving them 10 slashes with a wooden
Right.
pedal.
Right.
Hurt. And you could hear them licks.
You could hear them.
But sometimes these be like adults, and you hitting adults with a doggone wooden pedal. These ain't kids, these adults.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, what if that adult would turn around and punch you in your face?
Right. And no one ever they never did though.
They,
They just
they took it.
they took it. They took it. And so we have to talk about like part of this is how the adults were complicit to the abuse. I know we grew up in a time where spankings were normal. We got spankings, we got the switch, right?
Yeah,
We got the belt.
yeah, we did.
It was normal how we were raised, but to see it in a church that's supposed to be a church,
Right.
that
That
was didn't
I
even
I didn't understand that, but I didn't question it.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right.
I guess because the way that I was raised. So
Hmm.
I didn't question him taking the Bible, throwing it on the floor, spitting on it. I didn't question that. I didn't question him saying he'll take the pages of the Bible out and wipe his butt with it. I didn't question that. Now I would.
Right.
See,
Right.
then, because I'm young, I didn't understand. So I didn't. I would say my grandmother should have questioned it because she knew it, but they were brainwashed.
Right. Did you, so your grandmother, of course, they were religious people. Did your church?
My
Yeah.
mother, well, they were in the Baptist church, and
Okay.
my was a church mother. So I'm like, you should have knew better.
Hmm.
Because you used to sit down and always read your Bible. So, I mean, shouldn't you knew better?
Hmm.
But then you're brainwashed.
Right.
So you didn't know better.
Right. Can you repeat the part your grandma, you said she was a mother of the church?
Yes, she was a church mother.
Okay. All right.
She was a church mother. They called her Mother Jones.
Mhm.
She was a church mother. And the church that we came from, she was a church mother.
Interesting.
And my grandfather was the deacon.
Wow. Wow. And your grandfather never went to People's Temple. Was
Lord,
he?
no.
Okay.
He was not, granddaddy was not moving.
Hmm. Did he
My
ever say
grandfather,
anything about it? I'm sorry. Did he ever say anything about why he didn't want to go? Or
my grandpa was not moving.
okay, that was it.
That was it. He was not
Mm-hmm.
moving. He didn't want her to go, but she had a mind of her own.
Mm-hmm.
My brothers tried to get her to stay. And, Jim said, it was a better place. Not supposed to have been heaven.
It was supposed to be heaven.
Supposed to be heaven. It's supposed to have been a better
Right.
place. So old people felt that this was a better place for them. See,
Mm-hmm.
my grandparents came from Arkansas, out the country, and beating them down and, picking cotton and yes, sir, no, sir.
Right.
You know? So when they came to California, they came for a better life.
Mm-hmm.
So when she got in People's Temple and he brainwashed them thinking he made Jonestown he made people feel that that was going to be a better life for them.
Grandma Bates, how do you like it here?
I love it. I love it. I love it better than any place I've been in my life. And I've been many places. I've traveled this world, many places. But I've never loved a place and been so healthy and been so free in my life as I am now. I just love it. I hope everything is going to be all right for us. And I just love it and want to stay here. And Jim has did so much for me. He saved my life many times. And he's kept me on my feet. When I came to this place, I'd had arthritis in my knees for 20 long years. I couldn't stoop. When I came here, I was on a cane. And I threw my cane away the second day I came here. I can stoop, I can sit down with my legs under me now. And I don't have a pain in my body. I thank you, Jim. You have certainly made a way for us. And everybody seemed to be so happy. I am pleased. Thank you, Jim.
What do you think makes all the seniors so happy here?
Oh, it's just beautiful. We have beautiful trees, all the fruit, all the flowers, all the vegetables and everything. We raise it ourselves, and we are happy out here doing these things. We have everything.
Even though she already had a good life, she was looking at something else.
Exactly.
And you think it's because of, you think, so basically it started because the physical therapy? I
Yeah,
just,
exactly. Because when they took her in, they showed her love and compassion,
right.
the heated pool, and they working with her, and they got her where she could walk without her cane. She started
Mm.
being independent. She was fishing. Everything that she loved to do, she could do it again.
Wow. That's amazing.
Even though, she had, her hand was, she still had a problem with her hand, and she walked with a limp. But everything that she wanted to do, she could do it. You could tell she had a stroke, but
Right.
still, she's a strong Black woman.
She was
So,
able to kind of pick up where she left off with it, activities
exactly,
that she was doing. So
exactly.
she, so,
Cooking, baking, fishing,
mm,
you know. So they gave her independence back. So I think that's what really And then him telling people, they will call you out, make they see things that's in your house, just so you believe it.
Right. Because
Okay.
that's part of the con.
Exactly.
That's
Okay.
part of the
Then,
con.
you go on these crusades with them, they put killing people of cancer and this and that, all these different miracles.
Mhm.
Oh, you believe in it.
He called me out and he said, "You have cancer." And I look at, I said, well, I was getting mighty poor. So he said, "Go to the restroom." And he called the nurse's name and told her to go to the bathroom with me and tell me how to do and what to do. And it come from my body. That what she had on that paper come from my body. I seen it. I was in there by myself. I smelled it. I didn't think that I could smell like that, and I'm alive.
Mhm.
Then you see them picking up stray dogs,
Mhm.
helping Black people, get off drugs, and you're sending them to school. They're becoming lawyers, teachers, doctors, whatever.
Right.
So you're showing compassion.
Mhm.
So, oh, he's a nice person.
Mhm.
So you start off being nice. You're drawing people in.
Exactly.
Then all of a
Exactly.
sudden, that's what he did. He wooed everybody in.
He did.
So nice and kind. Because I remember when we first started going, they had greeters at the door. I know you remember
Yes.
that. They were
I
greeters.
do.
They were greeters. Then
Exactly.
all of a sudden, people supposedly were trying to kill him. So then we had to start having people at the door to search people because people
It's-
bring in knives and guns and stuff. In the beginning, there was none of that.
You're
There,
right. There
there were
wasn't.
greeters, welcome to People's Temple.
Mhm. Right. That's it.
See, so and like I was telling my daughter this when I said, somewhere down the line, somebody lied. I said, because if they really wanted to kill him, they could have killed him. I
Right.
said, he was lying, making us think that somebody, I said, nobody want to kill him. I said,
And
he
he
was just
did that.
doing that, getting to our minds. I said,
Thinking that.
if
Sorry.
we couldn't see that,
Mhm.
that's like people double to look like him.
Mhm.
All that was flowing on our minds, and we couldn't see that.
We couldn't.
We were young, and we didn't know.
And we're looking at our elders, our grandmother, mother, and they're involved, so we think it's okay. And you're
Ex-
right. During
exactly.
that time, you did not question adults.
No,
You did not
not to.
not to question adults, so you didn't ask. But then even this feeling like maybe something's wrong, you would push it down away and you couldn't talk about it, you couldn't ask about it, right?
Exactly. Because I never questioned. I didn't start questioning until my mama died.
Okay.
Mother died. That's when this light bulb went on in my head.
Tell me about that.
My mother, he said that he called her out and he was telling her all this stuff that was in our house. You got this shadow box on the wall, and you got this, you got that. So, and that was in our house. So she believed him. He said, "Well, I'm saving you from having this fatal heart attack on this such a day here in June." Okay. So she believed him. So that following week, he left, went to Guyana. Went to Guyana. The following week, she died. She died June 22nd, 1977, 5:55 in the morning. Okay? Now, how you save her from having a fatal heart attack when she died? She, I will never forget that, it was 117 degrees. And She had a stroke. She had a heat stroke and a massive heart attack. And she was calling on, it was hot because I was sitting outside at nighttime. And she called me. I went in the house. She had slumped over in the chair. So I set her up. And her eyes had like rolled back in her head. And we called for the ambulance, got my grandparents, because my grandparents lived across the street. And she just kept calling. She was grunting. And she kept calling for Father Jim, Father Jim. Wasn't no Father Jim. Okay. So by that morning, she passed away. To do the eulogy, they sent Guy Young. I'm like, where's he at? Where Jim Jones at?
Right. Because he hadn't left yet.
Yes, he did.
Oh, he had
He,
left already.
he
Where's
left.
Jim Jones as far as how come he didn't heal her?
Well,
So,
he didn't heal her. He
right.
didn't have enough decency to come back to bury my mama. And you
Yeah.
send this man, Guy Young, this stutter. Every other word.
And he did the eulogy?
Yes.
Mm,
Horrible.
that had to be horrible.
Horrible. I'm 16 years old. Then you have somebody, he had, at the time I was dating Stephen McIntosh,
Mhm.
and they had the people, they had him to call me and tell me the reason why your mother died, because she didn't have enough faith to believe in Jim. Father.
Oh my gosh. That's what they would do though, because they want to pass, because
Uh,
it wasn't real. They
yeah.
weren't real.
Well,
Healings, they weren't real.
I know they wasn't real,
Right. But the people
but
didn't.
that's when I knew that it, because I'm like, and that's when I start questioning everything after I cussed him out. And then I said, there ain't no God. I said, because if there was a God, you would have saved my mom. And then a year later, my grandmother died at an over
Right.
18. And that's when I was like, nah.
Mhm.
So I really started saying, nah, there ain't no God. I said,
Of
it can't.
course.
I'm like, it can't be,
It's
you
too
know,
much.
because
Too
it's
much.
this. Mm-mm.
Mhm. How did you have my sincere condolences. I can't, and you were only 16.
I was 16 when my
And your
mom,
and your
17,
mother's
grandmother died.
and she's calling on Jim Jones to save her.
Yeah,
Father God, Father
yeah.
Jim, and never that
Uh-huh.
didn't even exist. That did not even exist.
Just like $3 bills don't exist.
That's right. Mhm. So when your grandmother, when did your grandmother go to Jonestown?
She left, I think it was like in March of, let's see, my mom died in June. So June, 7th, June, July, August, September, October. No, she went a few months after that, because what's weird is my mother died June 22nd, 77. That next week after she died, they're gonna call her name to go to Jonestown.
Your mother's name to go to Jonestown?
Yeah,
So they didn't even know she had passed.
no.
Not she wasn't so oh my gosh.
What you calling her find out she dead?
Wow.
Yeah. And then I think it was like, so it was June. My grandmother went like the winter. So like the winter, because I remember it was cold in San Francisco. We went to go tell her goodbye. And I was still 17 because I hadn't made 18 yet.
So she arrived in Jonestown on 3/19/1978. March 19, 1978. Your grandmother, Nancy Jones, arrived in Jonestown. And at the time, she was 77 years ago, 77
That's
years
right.
old.
That's right.
Bless her. Bless her.
Yep, that's my girl.
And such a waste. They just
Yeah.
really thought they were going to
She
live well.
she, she thought she was gonna, like she told my brother, that was gonna be better life for her.
Mm-hmm.
Knew that was going to be something better.
And that's what they all thought.
And like my brother was like, you could be here. No, it's going to be better over there.
Mm.
You know, and she wanted her baby to go with her. It's like, no, I'm not going to let her go. And I'm so grateful to God that neither one of my brothers, one got mad at me and told me, well, you can't go till you turn 18. I said, I don't care. I won't. Well, I'll just wait till I turn 18. You know, me, my little smart mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, like we had went to go tell her goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
She TV, and then she was talking because me, my oldest brother and my middle brother.
Mm-hmm.
And my middle brother said, "No, I got to take care of my baby. You know, because I'm the only girl."
Okay.
And he said, "No, I got to take care of her. So no, I'm not going to let her go."
Mm-hmm.
And you know, she really wanted me to go with her. He said, "No, she's not going to go."
Well,
The child just, you know, kind of like beg her to stay. She's like,
mm-hmm.
"Oh no,
She
this
was,
place, better place, better place."
mm-hmm. And so I know it was not easy for them either. You know, with the outhouses, they had to go back to almost like from when they started, you know, came into the world, you know, what
Yeah,
folks went through in the South, and
yeah.
people
Out,
didn't have
and
plumbing,
you know, you know, she's picking cotton. I mean, just
all that, all
all of
that.
that. And then I know, like, someone was telling me, like, something happened and then she got slapped. And I'm like, why they just didn't let her come home?
They were going to do that.
You know, she want to come home, just let her come. I mean, leave a woman alone. Just let her come. She old.
Right.
Come on.
No, they wanted that Social Security check. They wanted her money. If she had any money left, that's why she was still there.
Could have kept her Social Security check. Just give me my grandmama. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. And so, how did she? When she how did she made a decision to go to Jonestown, in like just right after Jim went? Do you think? Because he went in '77.
Well, no. Remember, everybody had signed up to go before this mess.
Mhm.
People, he was planning this mess for a minute. And then, because remember, he was sending people over little by little,
Right.
because supposedly building houses and getting the ground ready. And they were sending pictures, supposedly pictures over, and
Mm-hmm.
everything was looking all nice. And we, yay, yay. Ain't no yay, yay.
Right. Was none of that. Was none of that.
You
And
know.
and I think that's where they grabbed people, because when I went, I went for a different reason, but they didn't, I heard after I left, they were showing these photos of how beautiful it was. Some people thought they were going to a beach where there was, you know, a beach there, looking like paradise.
Well, it looked like paradise.
That's their lovely little house, and it's so darling inside. Maybe we can take a walk out there and see it. We built that just for them. They wanted a house, and there's their dog laying underneath it. So comfortable.
This is the way it is if it's what it ought to be. The American manners are nothing like these. Right, Jim? Yep. Oh, we have row after row of these. Whole warehouse full. We even sell bananas now.
Jerry, what is it that you like about this place?
Well, now that's hard to describe, because it's the most beautiful place I've ever been in all my life. There's so many wonderful things about it. For instance, it just rained, a lovely rain this afternoon, and I'm now looking at the sky, and you can look all the way around. It's just at sunset time, and it's just gorgeous. There's a picture all around. And the cottages, the dormitories, we have dormitories that are just beautiful, and for those seniors who cannot walk long distances, there is a place provided for them where they can be near the medical staff, and they're taken care of like babies. And our children are so beautiful, lovely classrooms, and they're so happy. You just can't imagine that all the hundreds of us here are so extremely happy. I wish I could describe the whole thing to you, but it's hard. But I just must say this. I can't help but say that none of this would have been possible had it not been for Jim Jones.
That's what it looked like. It looked like
It looked
paradise.
like,
See, I don't know exactly when you guys left, But I know that the last pictures last pictures I seen look like paradise.
Mhm.
And I think, like I said, by the time when my grandmother left, it's like it was nobody. It was like everybody's going through the back door. And
Mm.
it's like ghost town by the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So pretty much everybody that was gonna be gone was pretty much like
Mhm.
pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gone. Right,
Mhm.
because he went in 77. He went in August. He went in June. I went in August. So
Yeah.
I don't
Like I said,
those photos.
he left um the week before my mom died. He left
And your mother passed on what day?
June 22nd.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He left the week before she died. He
Mhm.
left.
You're right.
I would never forget that.
No, how could you? My gosh, that was traumatic itself. Just,
I'm like,
just
where you at? Because you lied to me. You
right.
lied to us. And then when I really need my mom, I'm going through everything. 16 years old. I need,
Right.
you know,
Mhm.
and she's gone. You lied. You said you were saving her. You didn't. So
At all.
you are a liar.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. A liar. He's a
And
fraud.
my mom is calling on you. You're nowhere to be found. And
Mhm.
then saying that she didn't have enough faith. No, she had all the faith in the world in you. You're a liar.
That's right. That's right, Nancy. That's right.
So
Mhm.
that's just
Exactly
about
right.
he's a liar. He's a fraud. He's a liar.
Exactly.
And if he
Exactly.
and if he ain't dead, he need to be dead. That's just the bottom line.
Mhm. Mhm. Did your grandmother turn over any property before she
She
left?
didn't have any.
Okay.
She just her insurance policy and
Mhm.
different her house. She sold it.
Okay. She sold
Yeah,
before she left?
yeah, girl. Yeah.
Did she give it to People's Temple?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. They did their. My mother and her both. They did their insurance policies. They were like selling stuff out their house. Like they wash. They did. Them old people selling like their washing machines. You know, sh- they cashed in their insurance policies. That's why, like when my mother died, my brother had to pay for her everything because she had nothing because
Yeah,
she had land.
that is so sad.
Yeah,
And that's the grift. That's what they did. That's what they
yeah,
did. And they just infiltrated the Black community, right? That's what they did. Purposely came into our community and took advantage and did the same thing they've been doing for years. For years.
and nobody stopped him.
And nobody stopped them. And that's why Black Jonestown is important, because we're going to talk about all these things that don't get talked about. For 47 years, these subjects, how he was able to get away with it, are going to be discussed, because we owe that to our ancestors. We owe that to the people that can't speak anymore, and to the children, you know, to the children.
Because I talked to my best friend, and like I told you, like her whole family pretty much
You told me, yep,
got wiped up over there. And it's like she said, I don't even want to. She said, I can't deal with it because it's just that devastating to her. She
right.
can't, because she lost her mom,
Mhm.
her, her great grandmother, her great uncle, her
The
little
Cunningham,
sister.
Cunningham,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
She
Mhm.
lost all of them, and she can't. She said, I can't even. She said, I can't even talk about it.
She can't revisit it.
It's too much. I said, I understand. I
Yes,
understand
of course.
because
Absolutely.
just for me, just losing my grandmother,
Mhm.
that's enough. I said, but you losing everybody except for your sister. She got like one sibling left.
Mhm.
It's
It's devastating.
it's
It's
it's just
devastating.
ooh, you know. But you're still here. But
And you're
just
still here, but you're still here to do.
that about it, it's like she would get letters from her mom. She wanted to go, and her mom told her no, don't come.
Oh
I said,
gosh, thank
letter
goodness.
from your mom. like, I think it was like a couple days or maybe a week
Mhm.
before everything happened. I said in a letter, she was like, everything's okay. And I said, but something just wasn't right with that letter. You know, it just
Mm.
wasn't right.
Did it sound, probably didn't sound like her?
It didn't sound right.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
she said, it's like, I think what they used to do is like open a letter. I think she said her letter like it had been opened and like resealed or something. So I think they used to look at the letters before you send them.
They did.
Wasn't sending the wrong thing or whatever.
Right.
I remember I had asked her like, how was my grandmother doing and
Mm.
different things like that. And I remember I got the letter, and then it was like a week or a couple of days later, that's when everything had just, I'm like, how can they be okay then? They weren't okay.
No, they weren't. We were not okay. We were not okay. And the thing, everything was censored. Whatever came in was read. And there's probably letters that came in talking about people's family, maybe someone who died that they never knew because they didn't want them to know. Letters that went out were censored. And my brother wrote a letter to wrote letter to my dad. They all sound the same. Every one of them sound the same. So they were dictating, what you were to say to make sure that you weren't saying anything that would create more suspicion if there wasn't already suspicion with the family. That's exactly what they did. Exactly what they did.
And then
So
that those people that are alive, that was connected to him, they need to pay.
so let's talk about that. So, Jonestown was not deemed uh, it was a crime scene, but it wasn't. So, so they assumed it was suicide. Everybody. So there wasn't a real forensic team going in, taking. You know how a crime scene.
Yes.
It wasn't. They didn't determine it to be that kind of crime scene. So that's why we'll never really know. There were, reports that people were. You see the injection marks on their shoulders. We know that the babies didn't kill themselves, but and so who else? So when you say that, you're saying there are people that are still walking, they're still alive, that should be held responsible for their part in this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
I said, why? They know what happened. Either you gave them the Kool-Aid or you injected them. So that means you had your part in killing them.
Exactly.
So
So
you
you
need to be
think,
held accountable.
right. Do you think there's people here in the States that knew what was happening? Like as far as him stealing money and taking advantage of people that are still here walking around?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I do.
Mhm.
And they need to be held accountable.
Mhm. Do you have anybody in mind? We can talk offline if you want, that you think is still around that has personal responsibility? Because I look at the dynamics of all the leadership was white, right? All the leadership were white
That's true.
over the majority of the congregation members were black Americans.
You know what? See, I never thought about that. Never, ever thought about that.
Those that
Yeah.
had access to the money were white. So People's Temple was supposed to be equal, right?
You know what? And we never thought about uh,
We never saw it.
that's that's saying a lot.
We never
Yeah.
saw it. Because that's who we are. We're loving people. We're loving. We're trusting, right? And we believe, we have faith in humanity. And that's why it's so important that we are exposing this, because he purposely came into our communities and took advantage of us. And because it was planned from the beginning, it was planned. We were the vulnerable,
So,
we were the vulnerable population.
so then I got a question.
Okay.
My brain is clicking now. So I want to know, did his children know?
Good question. Good question. That's a good question.
Because that's
But let's just say they did know, right?
wow.
Let's say they knew. Just we're just using a scenario.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when I look at them, they were raised in People's Temple from
Right.
birth, right?
Right.
That's all they knew. That's all they knew. So it's almost as if, who can I use? You're raised by a parent. Well, things could be normal to you because that's all you know.
Okay.
You understand? That's all you know. And I'm not condoning, I'm not making, I just don't know. But
Okay.
if I'm, if you're raised in a household that's, let's say abusive, right? The father is abusive to the woman. That's normal to you if you don't know anything else. And that question will probably never be answered, right? But it's a good question. It's a good question. Because I'm going to go further into a little bit more of my story in another episode. But this was created for the sheer purpose of taking advantage of Black Americans financially and to gain power. That's it. That's all it was. That's all. That's what I believe. And do you feel the same way?
Now, since I'm thinking about it, yeah. See, I was young, so I didn't.
Right.
You don't know because you're young, but as you get
Right.
older, you start thinking, and the more you think about it, it's like, wow, yeah, because you learn.
Because there's so much information. It's been 47 years. Only the last probably 10 years have I discovered more. I wrote a book in 2009. It took me a long time, but there's things then I didn't know that I know now, which is why we created Black Jonestown, because people have to know. There's
Yeah,
people that don't even know. I'm getting comments that don't even know the majority of the people that died were Black, or the majority of the people that supported People's Temple were Black women. That's never been told. You don't hear though. You don't hear that. And then you start so as we get older, we start putting things together. And then
exactly.
for years, I didn't want to think. For years, I blocked it out. I couldn't deal with it. About 20 years, I just couldn't deal with it. I could not. I was still thinking somebody was still alive. Somebody in my family had to survive. So I blocked that out for about 20 years until I had to
Wow.
start the healing process and trying to, to understand, yeah, but there's a lot we didn't know. And there's a lot that we're not told, because you have to know where to look to find some of it, right? So we're going to have everything on Black Jonestown we can find.
See, this is gonna be good for my grandchildren to know.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it will help people so that they'll never get caught
Right.
this again.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
See, it's a teacher. This is a teachable moment.
It is.
Don't be caught. No, see, don't be caught with your drawers down.
Right. And
Mm.
part of it, I think, is when if we don't go within, right? We don't dig deep within, because everything that we're supposed to have, God has given us, it's in us already. But if we start going outside and looking for things and we're vulnerable, it can be the smallest thing. And this just me and you talking. It could be the smallest thing that one little incident in life can project someone to a Jim Jones or a pastor who's there just to rip them off, is not being honest, right? Just one little thing. One little thing.
I am so since that it's like you tell me something. If you can't show it to me,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
if you tell me something, okay, show it to me. I
Mm-hmm.
see it.
Exactly.
I see it with my two eyes. Mm-mm.
This is I know it's tough. I know that. I know it's difficult.
It brings back a lot of a lot of memories because so you start thinking about like all the people that you've known, because I've never that many people before in my life.
Really? You never been around that many people. Me
No.
either. Right. Hundreds of people.
And that many young people, and it was cool, to meet them. I mean, you can have fun. You're not doing drugs, you're not alcohol.
Right.
And I think what really made it fun, I look forward to going because I could be with my friends.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I watching them do like the African dances. So
Mhm.
that was exciting to me.
Right.
So hanging out with them, eating fried chicken, you know,
Going
that
downstairs after service and buying that good food.
yeah, I enjoyed that, you know. Or even in between, you can smell that food. Oh God, you get so hungry. The mother down there, especially that little mother, I forgot her name. She had the arthritis, her little fingers was all curled up. I don't remember her name, but she was so sweet, you know. But it's like, and I enjoy traveling, like every weekend we were, different. Either we'd be in LA or we'd be in San Francisco. So it was something kind of cool, you know. But I mean, just being with your friends.
Right. And that's
You,
at that
you know,
age, that's important.
and you didn't really understand the dynamics of what was really going on. This man was manipulating people. He was hurting people. You
Yeah.
know, he's telling people he's healing them, but really he's not. Every every week, every other week, he's collecting millions of dollars, thousands of dollars.
Right.
Okay. This
Mhm.
week LA, okay. And then you're staying at people's houses. These people houses that you're staying at, they're giving him this amount of money, that amount of money. If you don't stay at people's houses, you're staying in the church,
That's true. You're right. You're right.
you know. Um, it's crazy.
It is
We
crazy,
really
but
think about it. That's some crazy stuff we did.
it
Even
wasn't
even if you think about it, that's like when we used to go on those what do you call it? During the summertime.
cross country trips, the crusades, the cross country.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. That
Hmm.
that I mean now that's how I end up going about all those different states because I would have never went.
I wouldn't either.
Okay,
Hmm.
but you're going across these crusades and you're healing people and this and that and the other. People really believe that mess.
They did. They did.
You know,
They did.
us young people, that was the way for us to travel.
Even though we had to sleep up in the racks, the luggage,
Exactly. Or sometimes we slept on the floor. Now,
sleep on the floor.
I slept down the middle before. I
Hmm.
slept after thing before the luggage thing.
Right.
Overhead. Yep,
Yes.
did that. I mean, but we didn't complain. We felt
Because
like it was fun.
we
We
were
didn't.
kids and it was fun.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you being a part of this groundbreaking um, Black Jonestown project. It's going to be amazing. People are going to, enjoy your story with pain, of course. And again, you have my deepest condolences for your loss and the trauma and pain that you went through. And I appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for letting me share, for having a voice.
Thank you for coming on. And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This week on the Black Jonestown podcast, we pause to honor the life and legacy of Elsie Bell.
This is Black Jonestown. This story contains sexual assault and abuse and is not suitable for children. This is Elsie Bell, Born on June 11th, 1918, in the small town of Eudora, Arkansas. Her life was one of struggle, of survival, of resilience, but also of dreams and of talents she built for herself in the midst of hardship. This is her story. Elsie Bell's earliest memories of poverty, abandonment, and survival. She put it in her own words.
My stepfather began to take advantage of me from the time I was very small. I was made to take care of the other children by my mother. If I let the children cry, my mother would beat me with the buggy whip. These were terrible beatings. If I did any little thing wrong, I would get beat, and only my grandmother intervened. I was light, and the other children were dark. If I was dark, maybe I wouldn't have gotten beat so much because my mother wouldn't have hated me so much. The older I got, the more my stepfather would take advantage of me.
Alone and vulnerable. After her grandmother's death, Elsie's life became a series of assaults, both physical and emotional.
My grandmother moved out of the house in 1928, and she fell dead on August 1st, 1929, while carrying 2 buckets of water. I asked God why he did this to me. I was totally alone. There was misery all around me.
At just 15 years old, Elsie became pregnant by her stepfather. Rejected by her mother, she gave birth alone.
Where I lived, black people were getting killed. We would find them in the woods from age 10 to 15. Things got worse. I had a child by my stepfather. My mother wanted me to be turned out of the house. It was a nightmare. I've never been out in the world. I was 15 and pregnant and had no education. Didn't know a thing. If the baby was going to come out of my mouth or what. I had to work like a dog. My mother threw me out pregnant and said that I was not good enough to be around people. I bore the child alone. No midwife, no doctor, 12 hours of labor. I didn't know if the baby was going to come out of my mouth or what. I screamed and screamed. It was a beautiful boy child.
Her baby boy was taken from her. It was as if she would never find support or happiness. But life did not ease its grip on Elsie.
I was sent away from the house when my mother's church friends came. That is why I hate churches and preachers and church people. I would never go to church or Sunday school. My stepfather was not through with me after I bore his child. He got me back in the house to be his servant until I ran away at 17. I met a man who was 45 years old. I married him, and he took me to Vicksburg, Mississippi. I had a child, and he took her away and left me. I got pregnant again by another man, and he left me at the altar. Then I met another man. All these men are old enough to be my father. I never had the life that young people normally have. I never saw school until I was 11 years old.
She was pushed into marriages with men twice her age, abandoned while pregnant, left to fend for herself on the streets. By her 20s, she had already given birth to 7 children, yet could not keep them. Courts, poverty, and rejection tore them away.
I married while pregnant, but my husband kicked me out of the house. I was 9 months pregnant when that happened. I walked for weeks with no place to stay. Church people who knew me wouldn't take me in. I was only allowed to stay on the porch. One night, my child was born. I walked 25 miles to get to a hospital. My husband knew where I was, but he didn't come for 4 to 5 days. I had 7 children before I was out of my 20s. I got a job for $10 a week. I had to do 10 people's work scrubbing pots. I didn't have enough money for a babysitter. I was forced to give my children to my husband, but he only wanted his own children. I kept the 5-year-old with me, and I had to sell myself to get enough money for food for the children. Then my husband got a lawyer and said I was an unfit mother. I had no money for a lawyer. I had no recourse. I had to give my children up. Then he goes and gets him a 16-year-old girl to care for his children. They almost burned up in a fire. I had to give up my son, and he rejected me even though I prostituted to get money to feed him. I also got a daughter out of Mississippi and slaved for her, yet she has turned and rejected me. When my son was 12 years old, a white woman said he whistled at her. Because of that, he was sent to reform school. He went for 3 years, but I didn't have the money to get him out. When I finally got him out at 18, he was a totally different person. He drank heavily when he was 21. He was charged with rape. He is in Los Angeles now, constantly in and out of jails. I feel he was ruined in that reform school. It was a mental hospital. Light-skinned people. I can't say how much I detested them. I had to work for them. My son was destroyed by whites, but Jim Jones taught me that all whites are not the same. I'm glad I met him. My mother went to California, and I wanted to come out there to see her and my son, the one born from my stepfather. I still loved her, even what she had done to me and what she had said, that I would never be any good for nothing. The boy died at 19 years of age in 1954. She never allowed me to see him.
And still, she fought to live. Elsie hoped that her mother would finally accept her, give her the love that a mother should.
I came to California and saw my mother for the first time in 20 years. She treated me like she saw me yesterday, like a low-down dog. Finally, one day, I saw her for what she was. I left the house in Los Angeles in 1960. I had a stroke in 1968. I thought I was going to die. I said, I can't die. My daughter needs me. I am much improved since People's Temple. Jim Jones got plastic surgery done on my face, and it was done beautifully. I've been married to the same man since 1951, and he has been the best of my husbands.
Elsie was more than her suffering. She was creative, resourceful, determined to teach herself what life had denied her. Her pride was not in wealth or possessions, but in the beauty she created with her own hands. She belonged to the Audubon Society. She loved to read about animals and herbs. She painted portraits. She wrote about injustice.
I love roses. I like all kinds of plants that does something. I like trees and gardens. I like to read. I read about animals and herbs. I belong to the Audubon Society. I have listened to a lot and thought a lot. I'm a very good cook, first class. I'm a good housekeeper. I can make things look beautiful. I make cosmetics in the kitchen. I know a lot about cosmetic sewing. I think I'm an expert in that. I can create beautiful gestures and gowns. All this was self-taught. I'm also an amateur painter and have done portraits. I like to write about things. I've written about the Jonathan Jackson, Gary Tyler case. I had to discipline myself a lot. I don't say I'm a perfect socialist, but I'm trying to be a good socialist. I see in our adult education classes old people who cannot read or write who want so bad to be able to write. I feel their pain, the pain they wanted to learn. I looked at these women, at their hands. They have worked all their life. It upsets me. They had to work, so they could never go to school. They didn't have a choice, a chance. I look at the children here, Black children. They won't have to suffer what my son suffered. They won't have their lives exploited and destroyed, given drugs.
She heard a voice on the radio.
I heard Jim on the radio. I began listening. I wanted to see him. I came to the Embassy Auditorium in Los Angeles very early on March 7th, 1971. I was the first one there. Words cannot express what I think about Jonestown. It's the greatest thing. I always hoped to be in a place where there were no racists. I always wanted to go to a Black country. I'm satisfied now. I am happy. I am grateful. Everything is equal here. As I listen to Jim informing us what is going on in the Black liberation struggle, it takes my mind back to the things I knew about it my life. I remember my grandmother's baby buried alive at the age of 3. It's not hard for me to identify with the Black struggle in the USA. I am so grateful to Jonestown for all my comrades and for a great leader. I myself could not live in the capitalist world anymore. I just could not. We are not going to be like the Jews. We will fight if we have to. If we die, we will die with honor. My idol was Mary McLeod Bethune, cotton picker, educator, White House advisor. She looked at herself from the cotton fields to the White House. I looked at myself in the cotton fields in the ghettos to socialism and a principle to live by, and a great leader whose ideal will never die. I have always wanted to leave the United States. That was my dream. I did not think it was possible. I had given up on that idea. I am grateful to be out of that place.
Despite all the loss, Elsie dreamed of a better world. To Elsie, Jonestown seemed like the answer. A community without racism, a refuge from poverty, a family where she might finally belong. She entered Guyana on August 14th, 1977. For a woman who had endured abandonment and rejection all her life, the promise of Jonestown felt like redemption, hope, love, and above all, safety. But we know how the story ends. On November 18th, 1978, Elsie Bell's life ended in Jonestown. She was 60 years old. Her story reminds us Jonestown was not only about Jim Jones. It was about the women, the mothers, the dreamers. People like Elsie who carried both scars and gifts, who sought a world better than the one they had endured. Elsie Bell lived 60 years of struggle and survival. She created beauty from pain. And in her, we see not only tragedy, but resilience. May her story be remembered. This has been Black Jonestown.
They say that